Hello students, today's topic is chromatographic techniques part 2. Introduction. The term chromatography refers to a group of separation techniques characterized by the distribution of the molecules to be separated between two phases, one stationary and the other mobile. Separation and purification of proteins. Depending on the charge on the analyte, or if the analytes to be separated is volatile, or whether high pressure is applied on the separated column, it can be divided as ion exchange or gas liquid or high performance liquid chromatography respectively. Now coming to ion exchange chromatography. Principle. Ion exchange chromatography is a chromatography process that separates ions and polar molecules based on their interaction to the ion exchanger. It is a form of adsorption chromatography in which solutes in the mobile phase displays reversible electrostatic interactions with a charged stationary phase. The stationary phase surface displays ionic functional groups that interact with analyte ions of opposite charge. The net charge of analyte depends on its pKa value and the prevailing pH of the solution. Altered conditions are needed for the elution of the molecules that bind to the stationary phase. A change in pH affects the charge on the particular molecule and therefore alters the binding. The molecules then start eluting out based on the changes in their charges from the adjustments. Further, such adjustments can be used to release the proteins of interest. And finally, the separation of the analyte components depends on their respective distribution coefficient Kd. The two types of ion exchange chromatography are anion exchange and cation exchange chromatography. The difference between anion and cation exchangers are: cation exchangers has negatively charged functional groups, attracts cations, exchange positive ions, also called acidic ion exchanger. Example is CM cellulose. Anion exchangers has positively charged groups, attracts anions, and also called basic ion exchanger. Example is DEAE cellulose. Coming to the choice of buffer. pH of the buffer is at least 1 pH above or below the pI of the analyte. For anion exchanger, cationic buffer is used. Example tris, pyridine, alkylamines, etc. For cation exchangers, anionic buffer is used. Example is acetate, barbiturate, phosphate, etc. Coming to the procedure. First, the column is packed with a stationary phase consisting of a synthetic resin that is stacked with ionic functional groups. Second, the insoluble resin material that is positively charged in the column is surrounded by buffer counterions. Number 3, sample containing different charge like negatively charged, positively charged or neutral under the experimental conditions is loaded in the column into the ion exchange medium. Fourth, the solute molecules that have a charge opposite to that of the resin binds tightly but reversibly to the stationary phase. The strength of binding depends on the size of the charge and the charge density, that is the amount of charge per unit volume of the molecule of the solute. The greater the charge density, the stronger the interaction. Neutral solute molecules or those with a charge identical to that of the resin show little or no affinity for the stationary phase and move with the eluting buffer. Fifth, the bound solute molecule can be released by eluting the column with a buffer of increased ionic strength or pH. An increased in the buffer ionic strength releases the bound solute molecules by displacement. Increasing the buffer pH decreases the strength of the interaction by reducing the charge on the solute or on the resin. Elutions can be two types, stepwise and gradient elution. In gradient elution, concentration of counter ions can be gradually varied to separate ionized molecules. On the other hand, step elution can be used in which the concentration of the counter ions are varied in one step. Sixth one is, the analytes of interest must then be detected by some means, typically by conductivity or UV visible light absorbance. Coming to the applications. First, it is often used in protein purification. Second, separation of amino acids and even peptides. Third, determination of urinary catecholamines. Fourth, used in separation of isoenzymes. Fifth, determination of glycated hemoglobin. Sixth, isolation, purification and identification of vitamins and also antibiotics. Now coming to gas chromatography. Principle. When the mobile phase of a chromatographic system is gaseous and the stationary phase is a liquid coated on the inert solid particles inside a piece of glass or metal tubing called a column, the technique is gas-liquid chromatography or simply gas chromatography. It is used for separating and analyzing compounds that can be vaporized without decomposition. The gaseous compounds being analyzed interact with the wall of the column, which is coated with the stationary phase. This causes each compound to elute at a different time, known as the retention time of the compound. The comparison of retention times is what gives GC its analytical usefulness. Coming to procedure. The mobile phase, called a carrier gas, is inert, usually helium, nitrogen or argon. Helium remains the most commonly used carrier gas in about 90% of instruments, although hydrogen is preferred for the improved separations. The gas is directed to an injection port. The sample dissolved in a solvent is injected with a syringe through a rubber septum into the injection port. The column, the injection port and the detector are in individual ovens maintained at elevated temperature so that the sample components remain vaporized throughout their residence time in the system. Two types of columns are used, that is a packed column and the open tubular or capillary column. Separated components of the mixture from the column are directed through a detector. The most commonly used detectors are the flame ionization detector or FID and the thermal conductivity detector or TCD. Few other detectors include catalytic combustion detector or CCD, discharge ionization detector or DID, electron capture detector or ECD, atomic emission detector or AED, mass spectrometer MS, also called GCMS. Which gas to use is usually determined by the detector being used. For example, a DID requires helium as a carrier gas. The rate at which a sample passes through the column is directly proportional to the temperature of the column. The higher the column temperature, the faster the sample moves through the column. However, the faster a sample moves through the column, the less it interacts with the stationary phase and the less the analytes are separated. In general, the column temperature is selected to compromise between the length of analysis and the level of separation. Qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis of the separated components from the GC chromatogram can be done. Now coming to applications. First, it is used for testing the purity of a particular substance or separating the different components of a mixture. GC may help in identifying a compound. Second, it can be used in assuring the quality of a product in the chemical industry. or measuring the toxic substances in soil, air or water. GC is very accurate if used properly and can measure picomoles of a substance in a 1 ml liquid sample or parts per billion concentration in gaseous samples. Third, it is used extensively in forensic science like identification of solid drug dose, paint chip analysis and toxicology cases. Fourth one, it is used by college students for studying the contents of lavender oil or measuring the ethylene that is secreted by Nicotiana benthamiana plants after artificially injuring their leaves. Advantages of GC are that it provides excellent separation of most small biomolecules. It is simple, versatile and rapid. It is highly sensitive and relatively inexpensive. And the limitation is the requirement of heat stability and volatility of the sample. Compounds which are not volatile or that decompose at elevated temperature cannot be subjected to GC analysis. Now coming to high performance liquid chromatography, HPLC. HPLC is a technique in analytical chemistry used to separate, identify and quantify each component in a mixture. It relies on pumps to pass a pressurized liquid solvent containing the sample mixture through a column filled with a solid adsorbent material. Each components in the sample interact slightly differently with the adsorbent material, causing different flow rates for the different components and leading to the separation of the components as they flow out the column. The resolving power of all the column techniques can be improved substantially through the use of the technique called high performance liquid chromatography as HPLC. The column materials themselves are much finely divided and as a consequence there are more interaction sites and thus greater resolving power. Because the column is made of finer materials, pressure must be applied to the column to obtain adequate flow rates. The net result is high resolution as well as rapid separation. Now coming to types of HPLC. Depending on the stationary phase, the variants of HPLC are: first one is normal phase HPLC. This method separates analytes on the basis of polarity. It uses polar stationary phase and non-polar mobile phase. Therefore, the stationary phase is usually silica and typical mobile phases are hexane, methylene chloride, chloroform, diethyl ether and mixtures of these. Polar samples are thus retained on the polar surfaces of the column packing longer than less polar materials. Second type is reverse phase HPLC. The stationary phase is non-polar in nature while the mobile phase is polar liquid such as a mixture of water and ethanol or acetonitrile. It works on the principle of hydrophobic interactions, hence the more non-polar the material is, the longer it will be retained. Third is size exclusion HPLC. The column is filled with material having precisely controlled pore size and the particles are separated according to its molecular size. Large molecules are rapidly washed through the column. Small molecules penetrate inside the pores of the packing particles and elute later. Fourth type is ion exchange HPLC. The stationary phase has a surface of charge opposite to that of the sample ions. The stronger the charge on the sample, the stronger it will be attracted to the ionic surface and thus the longer it will take to elute. The mobile phase is an aqueous buffer where both pH and ionic strengths are used to control the elution time. HPLC instrumentation includes a pump, injector column, detector and integrator or acquisition and display system. The separation occurs inside the column. First is the solvent reservoir. The stationary phase in the solvent reservoir in HPLC is usually a mixture of polar and non-polar liquid components whose respective concentrations are varied depending on the composition of the sample. Second is the pump. The pump aspirates the mobile phase from the solvent reservoir and forces it through the system's column and detector. Depending on the column dimensions, particle size of the stationary phase, the flow rate and the composition of the mobile phase, pressures of up to 42,000 kilopascal or about 600 psi can be generated. Third is the sample injector. An injection of the liquid sample within the range of 0.1 to 100 ml of volume into the HPLC system could provide high reproducibility. Number 4. Columns. Columns are usually made of polished stainless steel, are between 50 and 300 mm long and have an internal diameter of between 2 and 5 mm. They are commonly filled with a stationary phase with a particle size of 3 to 10 micrometer. Ideally, the temperature of the mobile phase and the column should be kept constant during an analysis. Fifth one is detector. It detects the analytes as they elute from the chromatographic column. Commonly used detectors are UV spectroscopy, fluorescence, mass spectrometric and electrochemical detectors. Sixth is the data collection devices. Signals from the detector may be collected on chart recorders which process, store and reproduce chromatographic data. The computer integrates the response of the detector to each component and places it into the chromatograph that is easy to read and interpret. Now coming to applications. First, HPLC is a common technique used in the pharmaceutical development to ensure product purity. Number 2, it is also used for detection of illicit drugs in urine. This technique has been used to detect a variety of agents like doping agents, drug metabolites, glucuronide conjugates, amphetamines, cocaine, ketamine, LSD, cannabis, and pesticides. Third, it is used in detecting concentrations of potential clinical candidates like antifungal and asthma drugs. Fourth, medical use of HPLC can include nutrient analysis, drug analysis, and detection of vitamin D deficiency. Fifth, sugar analysis in fruit juices. Sixth one is analysis of bilirubin and biliverdin in hepatic disorders. Now coming to conclusion. Chromatography is a technique used for separation and purification of proteins. Ion exchange chromatography uses an ion exchange mechanism to separate analytes based on their respective charges. It uses a charge stationary phase to separate charged compounds like amino acids, peptides and proteins. Gas chromatography is used in analytical chemistry for separating and analyzing compounds that can be vaporized without decomposition. And HPLC relies on pumps to pass a pressurized liquid and a sample mixture through a column filled with adsorbent, leading to the better separation of the sample components. Thank you.